Today we are going to be doing a full inspection on Mazda No Speed, and we need to go through the mechanical aspect of the car and see what kind of issues it has. For a car with 160,000 miles and being about 20 years old, it's going to have some issues. So I definitely want to go through it with a fine-tooth comb and try and figure out what we need to get ordered. I already have a box full of new parts that we're going to be putting on the car just to make the suspension and handling a lot better. But one of the first things we definitely need to take care of is I need to go get a tire for it, because when it was in the accident, the tire blew out. This car does have pretty much brand new tires on it, so I want to go try and find another new tire to put on it. And it's also making a weird noise on startup. So let's go ahead and figure out what's wrong with the car. We're going to make a list of what we need, and we're going to go get a tire. And also, got to go to the junkyard and get some parts. So without further ado, let's jump in. All right, I'm going to start the car up. You guys take a listen and see if you see anything over here weird, because I can't see. So you guys tell me. Let me know. All right, let's start it up. So it definitely has some weird, kind of rattly, screechy sound. And I don't think it's anything to do with the timing chain or timing belt system, because it does go away after it starts up. It's just on initial startup. So I'm assuming it has something to do with the serpentine belt system. And honestly, it might be the tensioner. So we're going to dive in there and try to give it an inspection and see what kind of parts are broken, or if we can see anything with our eyes visually that's bad. And we'll take it from there. First thing I do notice is that there is definitely no room in here. It is really cramped. Now the belt, it looks actually really new. I mean, I can still see the lettering on it. It's in really good condition. So I'm gonna go grab my my pry tool and see if we can mess around with the tensioner real quick. And there's the belt. As you can see, it's pretty new still. But I want to get my pry bar down in there and see if any of this is loose. And there is really no space in this thing at all. All right, I'm gonna set the camera down really quick and mess around with these pulleys, see if I can find anything. All right, so in order to get better access in here, we need to get some of this stuff out of the way. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. I'm gonna remove this, and we're probably gonna have to take the motor mount off. And then I wanna pull the serpentine belt out and start it up without the belt and see if the noise goes away. All right, that's a huge difference there. Now we got tons of room. Okay, now we got to get the mount off. We got one more bolt over here. Break these loose with the breaker bar, and then we can use the impact to get them the rest of the way. Okay, there's 1, 2, and 3. All right. There's 1. 2 and 3. Oh yeah, that is much better. Nice. Now the mount's out. Then we'll take the belt off after drawing the routing, because you want to draw on a piece of paper how the belt's routed so you don't forget when you go put it back on. And once we start it, we'll see if that noise is gone. Here is our white marker. And I'm just going to draw a little arrow here. Perfect. Here is the idler pulley, and take a listen to this. All right, let's fire this thing up. Well, as you guys heard, obviously our noise wasn't coming from the serpentine belt area, but there was one other belt that we forgot to take off. I'm going to show you guys what belt it is, and that was our issue. And here it is. It was this belt here, and this little tensioner. You can hear that the bearings inside there are bad. I did turn it on and I did verify that this is where the noise is coming from. So we're going to go ahead and order this part, and we might as well order all the other stuff for the front over there. I'm going to get a new tensioner for that as well. So let's go ahead and go get a new tire and go to the junkyard now. All right, as you can see, we are here at the junkyard, and you guys know me, I always like to look at cool stuff. Look at this Audi Allroad. These were known for having a lot of issues. It's got the 2.7 bi-turbo, and I don't know, I've always thought these were cool cars. I always see them on Marketplace for ridiculous deals. There's one right now for $800, and the guy says it has transmission issues. So I don't know, what do you guys think? Would you guys be interested in me rebuilding one of these Audi Allroads? I don't know, I think they're really cool cars. I really like them. Maybe a future project for the channel. All right, let's see if we can find our Mazda donor car. So I was able to find the car with the same engine, except this one doesn't have the tensioner that goes here that runs, and I found out that this is the water pump. But this one had an actual single belt without a tensioner, which was really hard to get off. I had to just pry it off. But this is a way better solution. So we're just gonna go with this on the Mazda. I was able to get the pulley from this tensioner, which is in way better condition, a hose that I broke, and one of the center caps for the wheel. So we're good to go. Let's go back to the shop. Here is another junkyard find. It's a big boat. I guarantee you guys can't guess what it is. Ultra. Comes with side vents and a huge 3.8 supercharged V6. It's Park Avenue. These are pretty cool. You see these on Marketplace all the time for cheap. Maybe someday I'll pick one of these up just as like a winter beater or something, because that engine is definitely cool. I like those vents. All right, let's go. So we are back from the junkyard with our parts that we were able to salvage, including that little belt from the non-tensioner engine that I'm going to install on this car. We got our new pulley, idler pulley. Everything's been nice and cleaned. I cleaned this whole area, which was disgusting and full of grease. And now I'm going to throw everything back in, put everything back together, and then we're going to fire it up and see if our ugly noise has gone away, which I'm pretty sure we've taken care of that. So let's get to work. Okay, so I did get everything back together. As you can see, there is the tensioner that we got from the junkyard, and that pulley is trash. That idler pulley over there is also trash. Basically everything is garbage, so I had to order all of these parts, and it's now a few days later, and unfortunately this didn't work either. I ended up stripping the tensioner that goes here, and let me show you guys. So this is the water pump tensioner, and if you remember, this thing was making a lot of noise, and I thought I could replace the pulley, which you can buy. I did order the pulley, but I ended up cranking on this thing too hard, and you can see I broke it there, and I actually stripped it out. So I pulled all the threads out when I took this bolt out because it was in there. When I say it was in there, like it was literally welded in there. Well, long story short, I tried to rethread it. It didn't work. This bolt does not stay in place. So I literally can't just put this back on with a new pulley. I have to come up with a different solution. And I think you guys remember me telling you I did find the same engine that literally just had this belt with no pulley. And I've been looking at videos on how to install a stretch belt, and I think we can make it work. Man, I freaking love this ratchet. Belt, tensioner, and idler pulley, everything is now back on. And oh yeah, we got the stretch belt on over there. Let's fire this thing up and pray to God that this freaking noise went away. Well, I just started it up, and unfortunately the sound still persists. I'm at a loss for words. I have no goddamn clue where this noise is coming from. Take a listen. Now, as you can hear, the noise is still very present. Everything on the belt system is brand new, and I can't really pinpoint where the sound is coming from because I'm sitting inside the car when I start it. It's really difficult to figure out, and it's only on startup. You rev it and it doesn't make the sound, so I don't know where it's coming from. It's finally out of the garage, and it actually kind of looks like it's on fire. But it's not. It's just some of the cleaner and stuff burning off the exhaust. I figured that we should take it to the car wash and see how it drives on the way there. Clean it up and continue to work on this thing, because it does definitely still need a lot of work, but it's looking great. All right, driving the Mazda finally. Man, I need to get some gas as well. This thing does need an alignment, and I can hear brake noise in the rear. Well, good thing we got brakes for this thing, because that is one of the things we're going to address. But first, let's go to the car wash and get this filthy thing cleaned up. We are back from the car wash, and this thing looks really good now. We still got a lot of stuff to paint though, so we're going to pull it in and take it apart again and do some more work to it. Really quick little update. They switched spots. I got the cheap Alk on this side now, and the Mazda is going to be my daily driver for a few days because this thing is going to be in here getting major work done to it, which I'm really excited about. I couldn't wait. This thing is desperately needed me to give it a little bit of break and some attention. And so we'll be making a video on that. But for now, it's going to be on this side of the garage. We're going to pull the Mazda in over here and get to work on it. First, I want to do an oil change. Then we're going to do the spark plugs, and then we're going to do the brakes. Oh, God. All right. All that just to get to the rear spark plugs, but now we can do it. Now we can take a little peek down into the intake ports. Not that we can see much. Yeah, they're at an angle, so I can't really see the valves, but I can get my borescope in there. Well, those look nice and dry, so we don't got leaking valve covers. That's nice. Oh my God. Spark plugs, but usually on transverse mounted V6s, this is a standard fare. The spark plugs on this car don't look too bad, but it did have auto lights. These are like lawnmower spark plugs. I wouldn't recommend putting these in your car. So I use Motorcraft because this car is a Ford product, and this is what it recommends. 0.054 gap. So I'm going to stick a bore camera down those cylinders and see what I see. We are inside of the cylinder, and as you can see, it is very clean in there. There's the valves, one of them. Look at that cross hatching. These cylinders look brand new pretty much. There's the piston. And that's pretty much the same thing in all of the cylinders. So this is a very healthy engine. And while I was at it, I decided to do a little bit of cleaning, and I hit the valve cover and the valley there with some carburetor cleaner, and the wire wheel came out nice. I also cleaned the throttle body and the pintle on the EGR valve. Now everything's ready to go back together. I'm also going to clean the intake manifold, button this all up, and then we'll fire the car up. All right. So here is one of my favorite things that I like to do whenever I'm selling or flipping a car or just restoring it for myself, is to change out the tie rod ends, which is a really cheap upgrade you can do. It's really easy to do. You can see this doesn't have a ton of play. It's not really sloppy. It still feels really tight. This one as well, but you can see the grease is coming out. The new one is just solid. You can't even move it, and it really changes the way that the car drives, the way it steers, the way it feels. So always a good cheap upgrade whenever you're going to be flipping a car or fixing it up for yourself. Get you some inner and outer tie rods. And I'm about to throw these in the Mazda. Here is the pile of old junk that we have removed from this car so far. Brake pads, pulleys, tensioner, tie rods. And I think that takes care of the mechanical side. Now that the mechanical stuff is done and the car's running absolutely perfectly, I went ahead and jumped on the body and paint. Okay, I did a first light coat, and then I also just went around and wet sanded it, and I'm going to prepare it for its final spray down, and then we're going to do a clear coat. I'm going to paint the wheels black. I'm also going to smoke all of the tail lights, headlights, and all of the lenses, like the side markers and all that stuff per the owner of the car. There's the piece of bumper that I grafted onto it. So we're just gonna fill that line with body filler. It is plastic welded from the back, so it's nice and firm. And yeah, we should be done with the looks of this car. So I'm gonna get cracking on that, and then I'll show you guys the finished product. All right, just got done painting the car, putting the clear coat and putting it together. You guys remember what it looked like before. And it was pretty bad. It was wrecked and disgusting and not taken care of. And we went from this to this. This is the finished product. Took me about a month to get it to this point. No more wreck. There's a few minor dents still. It's not perfect, but I think it looks amazing. It came out awesome. 100% better. So it's gonna go off to its new owner, and in the next video we're gonna go and hit the auctions or Facebook Marketplace and look for a new project flip, and I want to take you guys with me and record that. So see you guys in the next one. Let's go take it for a spin.